Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good day. We are back with day 21 of our 31 perfect albums. I am again joined by my illustrious panel. We have Bill Schuster. How's it going, Bill?
Doing great, Armando. Good morning to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. My one cup of coffee, cold as ice, but still good. Um, doing good, doing good. I need more coffee though. And we have Mr. Ken Cheshire. How's it going, Ken?
Doing fine. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Glad you're here. And the one and only Jim Bricker. How's it
Hello,
going?
Armando, and everyone.
Good to see you as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we again are at day 21 of our 31 perfect albums. Um, we're having fun, damn it, and I do mean that. So, bringing you this list. So, again, I will pass the virtual mic down to Mr. Bill Schuster, and he'll give us his pick for day 21.
All right. Thank you, sir. I left off yesterday with 1984. I'm going to skip ahead all the way to 1989 today, passing
Woo.
over a lot of good stuff, but, well, there's a lot of time to cover. This is not a debut album, but many people think it is a debut album. It's their self titled second album. It is Indigo Girls,
Ooh.
featuring the duo of Amy Ray and Emily Saliers. This album features guest appearances by all four members of REM, J.D. Daugherty from Patti Smith's band, and also Kasim Sultan from Utopia.
Mm-hmm.
So a bit of an interesting, eclectic bunch, adding their 2 cents here and there. But they're just there for flavorings. It's really Amy and Emily's show entirely. I was in a long distance relationship back in 1989. I had never heard of the Indigo Girls, but Chris, this woman that I was dating, she came and picked me up one day, and we drove all the way back to where she lived. And this was the cassette that she had playing in her car. And then she took me to see a friend of hers, and the friend had an acoustic guitar, and the two of them in her friend's apartment sang many of these songs while her friend played guitar, and I was captivated. And so seeing their passion for it, hearing their passion for it, and their own performances brought me to where I absolutely had to own this album. So I went out and bought my own copy, and it's been in my collection ever since. It's fairly simple. I mean, the two artists combining their voices, they work great because their voices are slightly different. Amy is the rougher, rockier voice, and Emily has the smooth, pretty voice, so to speak. But they play off each other very well. I tend to think in an odd way of them like what Rick Davies and Roger Hodgson from Supertramp could have been if they had actually got along and continued on the path they were early on,
Mm-hmm.
where they kind of, no matter who writes the song, they become one, they become their songs. And yeah, just really just their voices and their guitars and their lyrics work well. It's a very emotional album. A lot of critics have criticized this as being the musings of immature college girls. They're just seeing the world for the first time. I think that's utter nonsense. These are poetic, brilliant lyrics throughout here.
Yeah.
I mean, even at my age now, I still am awed by some of these lyrics. And there's some that just stick with me that aren't even best. Prince of Darkness by Emily is probably my favorite song on the album.
Mhm.
Uh, but the lines about someone's on the telephone, desperate in his pain, someone's on the bathroom floor doing her cocaine, someone's got his finger
Whoa,
on the button in some room. No one
holy
can
shit.
convince me we aren't gluttons for our doom. It's very a bit of a downer, but then she comes back. But I try to make this place my place. I ask for Providence to smile upon me with his sweet face. But I'll tell you, my place is of the sun. This place is of the dark. I do not feel the romance. I do not catch the spark. By grace, my sight grows stronger, and I will not be a pawn for the Prince of Darkness any longer. It's just speaking the words doesn't quite get the magic across as with them working together vocally. But, this is kind of the birth of Lilith Fair many years prior, essentially.
Mhm.
So if you've never checked out the Indigo Girls, but you're into that sort of mid to late 90s stuff that was to come from all the female singer songwriters around that time, go back and check this out. This is very much that vibe, but they were here first.
Yeah. Big +1. I adore that album.
If you like the Indigo Girls, you should check out Sarah McLachlan. Any of her
Well, yeah.
releases, like from, So very good choice. Very good choice. All right. Ken, over to you.
Okay. We're going to jump ahead a couple of years to 1984, February 13th. This is a sequel to my choice from 2 days ago. And this is Talk Talk's It's My Life. Their second album did much better sales-wise. It peaked at 42 in the US. Three very good singles. Unlike the first album that was more synth pop, this is much more, I call it either art pop or progressive pop. Songs are not as short in length. There's only 3 songs that are under 4 minutes, and several of them are around 6.5. And it's interesting because when you first put the album on, the opening song is "Dum Dum Girl," and I remember putting it on for the first time, and I hear that song, I'm thinking, this is going somewhere different. And it certainly does. Now, it has some killer upbeat songs. I mean, It's My Life is just fabulous. I mean, there's a reason um, why No Doubt covered it and did it exactly the way Talk Talk did.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I've got mixed feelings about, but if it even brought just one person to discover Talk Talk, that's okay with me. That's perfectly good. But yeah, Calling the Night Boy, Does Caroline Know It's You? Renee is such a good song. Such a shame. The songs are there again. I like the idea of using progressive pop because it just has that. There's more ambience in the songs. There is more space, more empty space in the songs, which they're going to continue to advance in that direction in their next albums, and almost to the point of being. I'm kind of mixed about ambient in music, but it depends on how it's done, and I just love the way that they do it, and I don't know. I think this is just my top album from them. I think it's fantastic, even though I do love the other ones too. But this just really it's one of the best sophomore albums ever. It's My Life by Talk Talk.
Yep. I remember. I remember when that came out.
Yeah.
Oof. That dance version was all over the place, all over the clubs, radio. It was slamming. That was a good track. Ass shaker. Yeah, good choice.
And I gotta echo what you were saying about side one just kind of being a game changer. It's like, okay, this isn't it, this isn't Talk Talk the song anymore. That double combo of Such a Shame and Renee are just clearly signposts that these guys are just going somewhere different.
Yeah. Exactly.
Definitely.
And it doesn't get into, as Armando says, an ass shaker until the last song on the first side.
Yeah.
It's all that smooth art pop, and then it kicks in. Um, I often wonder what the record company thought of that, but yeah,
I think EMI were looking for the hit.
sure.
They were looking
Yeah.
for the hit. Give us something we can sell.
Hmm.
Um, well, anyways, that's record companies for you.
Yeah.
All right, Jim, over to you.
Well, I wonder what record companies had to say about my contribution for today. Um, so I am once again the laggard in terms of time. I'm still back in 1982, and this is the talked about the fourth album from Dire Straits today, which is Love Over Gold, which Armando and I covered pretty extensively in our Dire Straits episode.
Oh yeah.
Um, this is it's unlike what they were doing before. This is, whereas on songs from Making Movies, where Knopfler starts to get a little bit cinematic on how he, thanks Armando, on how he kind of approaches things from a sonic standpoint, especially on side one of that album. He just embraces it full hog on the Love Over Gold album. I mean, the cinematic and expansive, I think, applies to every track, and there's only five. The epic Telegraph Road, which starts off side one, going into private investigations, all very both very deep, very moody, very affecting pieces in their different ways. I mean, Telegraph Road sounds like the dreams of America lost, due to progress. And private investigation sounds like a Raymond Chandler novel, put to music. Um, Side three, more commercial. Did I say side three? Side two, which has three songs, more commercial. Haha. Um, Industrial Disease, which is, the song title gives it away. The title track, Love Over Gold, which is very sparse lyrically, but has these jazzy extended outros with vibes and deep bass. Of course, Knopfler's playing throughout the album is just phenomenal. And the last cut, It Never Rains, about a relationship gone wrong, which a lot of Knopfler songs are about, has some of his most aggressive guitar playing ever, and it's just fantastic. Um, the the album cover with the big lightning bolt, I think, really captures the feeling that permeates this entire record. Um, and I mentioned Knopfler's aggressive playing on It Never Rains, but the album also has some of his most sensitive playing um, on acoustic guitar throughout, or and electric.
Mhm.
Um, the keyboards on this album, swell and surge, and they don't get kind of hackneyed as they do with Brothers in Arms, where it just sort of becomes like standard 80s sound. This album is um, for any fan of music, for any audiophile, you're going to give your system a run for its money with
Yeah.
the deep bass and the beautiful acoustic piano and Knopfler's playing on the acoustic guitar, especially on the title cut.
Mhm.
Um, words fail from the, from here. I mean, I talked enough about it, but yeah, uh, perfection. Love Over Gold, Dire Straits, 1982.
Yep.
So I'm to take it you like this album.
I do, I do.
There you
In
go.
fact, I probably, if I really stretched, I probably could have picked um 31 albums from 1982. That
Mhm.
year is so expansive, and Bill, you've got a very fine exhibit from 1982 just next to your head there on the back corner.
Mhm.
Yep, exactly. So
Mhm.
there's so many killer albums. I mean,
Yeah.
Ken, you brought up Avalon a couple of episodes ago. Another standout from 82. Um, blah blah blah, yada yada yada, music music music.
Yeah, life's a rich tapestry. Okay. Okay, guys. Fantastic. Good choice. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, my pick for day 21, we are going to September 3rd, 1990, with the release of Listen Without Prejudice, Volume 1. George Michael, this is the follow-up to the mammoth successful album Faith. Ladies and gentlemen, this is as far from faith as you can possibly get. All right. At this point in time, bit of a backstory. At this point in time, George Michael was feeling very anti pop star. He did not want to be seen. He did not want to talk to anybody. The 10 songs here are very introspective. As you can tell from the graphic, he did not even appear on the cover. He did not want to do press for this album. He wanted the music to speak for itself, and speak it does. I was entering college at this point this year, and it was this album I had it on cassette originally. Game changer, game changer. Just a very personal album. The lead off single, Praying for Time. Again, he wouldn't even appear in the videos for the album at all. He just walked away completely. He literally did think that the music should speak for itself. Praying for Time, the lead off single, Freedom 90, um, with, sample drum track from, I believe it's James Brown's Funky Drummer, with the video featuring, the models, Linda Evangelista at the time. I believe Cindy Crawford was there. Naomi Campbell was in the video. For someone to literally have a video where there are references to your past, like the jukebox from the video from Faith, and the leather jacket from Faith, blowing up the jukebox, setting the leather jacket on fire, meaning that's in the past. We have to move on. I'm not who you think I am. I'm not that pop star. I'm someone that's a lot deeper than what is represented in those videos and in those songs. Uh, the album continues, comes in with the what I refer to as the gospel tinged. They won't go when I go. You know, beautiful track, very soulful, very haunting in terms of its delivery and arrangement. The acoustically beautiful Something to Save, where he's pleading with his girlfriend, or at that time starting to come out his boyfriend at that time, where he's saying, I'm here giving you everything I have. My heart's on my sleeve. Why can't you meet me at least halfway? And, tell me what is on your mind. Then comes the final track on side one, the 7 minute plus Cowboys and Angels. Very wistfully done in terms of the arrangement, done in 3/4 time, beautifully done, exquisitely done. Side two starts off with Waiting for That Day. You can't always get what you want. And he's basically telling his partner, you want me to forget you? I can't. You're able to move on and do things and live your life. You're leaving me here to pick up the pieces of what you've done to me with our relationship. And this is bloody difficult. This is bloody difficult. Mother's Pride comes next, which was the B-side to Waiting for That Day in the UK as a single. Beautiful piano acoustic guitar piece talking about children who see their fathers go off to war, wives saying goodbye to their husbands, knowing that they may not come back. It's very emotional. I'm sorry, guys. Heal the Pain comes next. Beautiful, just Another relationship-oriented song. Beautiful acoustic guitar. And it segues into Soul Free, which is one of the more reggae tinged, I guess, almost calypso type of arrangement. Beautiful vocals. He could hit the notes like no one's business. I mean, and again, when he appeared at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert and performed Somebody to Love, please, I'm done. Like I want, like, okay, we're finished.
Epic.
And then it segues, goes into Waiting Reprise. Uh, had Waiting for That Day at the start of side two. This is Waiting Reprise with him just on acoustic guitar. And the lead off lyric is, there ain't no point in moving on till you've got somewhere to go. And the road that I've walked upon, it filled my pockets and emptied out my soul. So he's like, there's got to be more to life than than being the pop star. It's got to give you something that's internal, something that'll, you know, give you something more than just, you know, the uh the trappings of stardom, right? There's got to be more to life than this. Um, Forgive that Freddie Mercury reference for that song. But anyways, every song on this album hits you right in the gut and pulls at your heartstrings. And this is George Michael, the musician, coming in play. People don't know he could play guitar, he could play bass. He was a good bass player. He could play keyboards. He was a musician and a producer and an arranger. He was just not someone out there in their tight jeans shaking their ass on stage and saying, "Oh, come home with me." No, 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 no. He knew how to craft fantastic pop songs and deliver them with a hell of a melodic punch. So
Oh yeah.
that is my choice for day 21.
Very good.
As someone who's not overly familiar with George's albums, but rather just knows them through the singles, would you say this album is kind of a signpost pointing to the rest of his career, the albums that would come out later that weren't so
Very
commercially
much
successful?
so. Very much so. Everyone thought, especially Columbia Records and Sony, they wanted him to deliver Faith 2. And he says, "You guys are nuts. I'm not doing Faith 2. I'm going, I'm doing what I want at this point in time." And Faith, as good as it was, I mean, like how many bloody singles were released from that album? Like what, six?
All of them.
Yeah,
Like, like,
pretty
like
much.
even the B-side to one of the tracks, Hard Day, was remixed and released as a 9 minute plus remix done by Shep Pettibone. I mean, I love Robert Pettibone's, otherwise known as Shep Pettibone's. I love his remixes that he did for Madonna. Like he wrote Vogue with Madonna, this guy. And I love his remixes that he did for New Order and Whitney Houston and stuff. But like, are you like 9 songs on Faith? 6 were released as a single. Give me a break. Like, where do you stop? Like, where do you
Nine
just say,
songs on
okay,
Thriller, 7 released as singles.
Yeah.
well, sorry, what was that?
I said 9 songs on Thriller, 7 released as singles.
That case in point.
Yep.
I understand it's a record company mechanism. It's a ploy to sell as much product as you can. But if I've got 7 singles or 6 from this album as singles, and let's say the B-sides are the album tracks, why do I need the album? I've got the singles.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense to me. So when he released Listen Without Prejudice, it was just like, okay, this is the total opposite of Faith. And then he would go on to, sue Sony and, release Older in 96, which for DreamWorks and Virgin, which was again total different from Listen Without Prejudice. And so yeah, it was a good launching pad to where he wanted to go. I mean, his personal issues aside, forget that. He was a musician, much like Prince, and he did whatever the hell he wanted to do musically. So, all right, guys, day 21 of our 31 perfect albums. Again, put in the comments down below what you believe or what you feel is your perfect album. Doesn't matter what genre. Yes, Taylor Swift can be included. I'm not going to judge. Anyways, I want to thank Bill, Jim, and Ken for joining me on this episode. We will see you soon for day 22 of 31 Perfect Albums. Bye for now.